We're in a palm plantation in Thailand with the former AWU WA Secretary Ralph Blewitt. Hey Ralph.
Morning Michael.
You remember the fatality, the Death Benefits Fund?
The Widows and Orphans one in Kalgoorlie, yeah.
It was set up in 1946, correct?
Yeah.
You didn't have to be a member of the union to belong to it?
No, I only had to be a miner and working in the gold mining.
And it was separate from the AWU. In other words, it wasn't an AWU fund, it was owned by the miners themselves.
Entirely theirs.
Now, Gillard and Wilson contrived to take it over, correct?
Yes.
Effectively, well, let me ask you this question first. You were there at the time, right?
Yes.
Did the miners who owned that fund agree to Gillard and Wilson taking it over?
No.
In fact, Vic Nicoletto, who Wilson deposed, is it true that Wilson deposed Vic Nicoletto?
Yes, he did, and Fred Shepherd and Nicoletto were vehemently opposed to the takeover of that fund.
Because there's a clause in the trust deed that Gillard wrote. Let me go back one step. There was already a trust deed dated November 1946, correct?
Yes.
So it was a properly administered fund by the miners.
Yes.
There was a clause in this new trust deed that Gillard put together that said it was always the miners' intention that control of this thing should go to the Secretary of the AWU, in other words Wilson, in Perth. Was that a true statement or not?
No.
It was bullshit.
Well, how would she know that? She never met with or spoke to the miners. They never gave Wilson and Gillard permission to take over control of that fund.
In fact, sometime, many weeks after that trust deed, the new trust deed that Gillard put together, there was a general meeting held in Boulder. Now, you were responsible for setting that meeting up, weren't you?
I got about a day or 2 days notice. Wilson instructs me to go to Boulder. He's having a meeting of the miners that are members of the Widows and Orphans Fund. He's bringing Gillard with him to promote her involvement and show it to be like a solicitor, as a legitimate
But it wasn't
change.
legitimate.
No, it wasn't. It was theft of the fund by Wilson and Gillard.
And that money, that trust deed...
Sorry a minute. There were only about 12 members attended that meeting.
So there wasn't a quorum?
No.
There was insufficient advance notice, correct? It was like...
Yeah, it was a spur of the moment thing.
And the trust deed had already been executed, correct?
I now know that, yeah.
So when Gillard came over, ostensibly, for that meeting in Boulder, do you believe that was the true purpose of her visit?
No.
What was the true
The
purpose?
purpose of the visit was to sort out the problems associated with the incorporation of the Workplace Reform Association, and she used the trip to Boulder as an excuse to appear in WA to fix up the problems with the Workplace Reform Association.
And as we'll talk about shortly, she also charged the widows and orphans for her time, airfares and expenses. Thanks, Ralph.